Hello and welcome back to the Patterson High School YouTube channel. I am Dr. Tucker and today's focus is the sculptured slash acrylic nail. They are referenced as either the sculptured nail or the acrylic nail. They're both the same nail and same service. Okay, so the original sculptured nail video is using a practice hand. But today, as you can see, I'm using a practice finger, which is just as effective. And this is what the current cosmetology students are using. Okay, so as we know, sanitize your hands is the first step. Always, 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 in every service you render, you always sanitize your hands first. And then you would have the client sanitize their hands. But in this case, because this is for the practical portion of the state board exam, you would then sanitize the hand of your practice hand. But this is a practice finger, so today we will bypass that particular step. After that, you want to etch the shine off of the nail. Now, what I have learned is that when you are using these practice fingers, go ahead and just hold that finger in place. Though it is attached with a screw, it may come off, so we don't want that. So you want to etch the shine off of this portion, which is representing a natural nail plate. Okay, you can use a fluffy to remove any dust. Now, we first want to balance the pH in the natural nail. I am using Beauty Secrets Prep Before product, and you want to only use a little bit of that. So as you can see, I am releasing that product as much as possible back into your bottle, and just do a quick wipe over the plastic. Allow that to air dry. Now we want to go back over that natural nail with a non-acid primer. Again, releasing most of that product. And you want to apply that to your natural nail. Okay, now I'm using the same brush. This is like a starter acrylic brush. And I just want to use the same tools that the students are using to show them that it is possible to use a smaller brush to achieve a sculptured nail. Now, first things first, you would prime your brush. Priming your brush means you want to just saturate that brush with acrylic liquid, which is your monomer, and you want to release some. Okay, now that's nice and primed. I'm using what I like to call the round nail forms. We do have 3 types. We have the rectangular shape, and we have the horseshoe shape as well. So I'm going to place this right underneath that nail. Once I get it to where I want it, I'm going to fold these little arms over, and then underneath, barely attach the form underneath, just so that it keeps this nice arch shape. Okay, now this looks like it's maybe prone to coming apart. That's where this little, I call it a button or a tab, comes into play. And what you can do is just place this right over that portion to ensure that it's on there pretty sturdy. Okay, all right, so now my brush is primed. I want to go back in with the liquid. Don't take the brush all the way back in, just the tip of the brush. Once that brush is primed, naturally, because these are natural hairs, these are red sable hairs, it will draw whatever liquid you put it in. Okay, now I'm going to take my clear, this is clear powder, though it looks white, it is clear, the finish of it is clear. You want to go in with the circular motion with your brush, tap any loose powder. I already see that my brush was a little dry, but I will see how well, no, let's try it again. You can always have your nail wipes available. All right, let's wet that a little bit more. Now I'm going to go back in. I always like to settle my powder and then go back in. Okay, Some students kind of pat the powder, which is fine. And you want to place your ball of liquid right where the form and the nail meets. Okay, so I'm seeing that I'm going to need a larger ball of product. I think that would do it. Now, so I'm seeing that that's a little wet. I'm going to wipe my brush on a nail wipe, which are actually homemade. They're paper towels that we've cut into squares. Okay. And let's actually take two so we can sandwich the brush between. Not sure why this product is performing this way. It seems a little gooey. Okay, so let's do this. Let's take our dropper, going into our large product. Let's get some more liquid. Okay. All right. And what I'm going to do is, with my brush cleaner, you can use actual brush cleaner or acetone, pure acetone, if you like. Okay, so let's kind of start over. Okay. Okay, so you can see that's beginning to harden. And this little tab seems to want to open. So what we can do, we can take yet another section of that particular tab or nail form and fold that to ensure that it will not continue opening on you at state board. Okay, going back into my liquid, generously with the liquid, leveling my powder. I'm gonna go in and get another ball. Okay, now that's much better. That's what we want. That's the ball that we're looking for, okay? So now place that right where the natural nail and the form, I'm gonna wipe my brush, meets. And you just want to pat that. And what I'm also finding is that this angle is a little dramatic. And I didn't quite realize that this is my first time actually using this nail form, and I'm glad that I did. I'm going back into the product to get another ball of product. Now I'm working on that stress line, which is again where, I'm wiping off my brush, is where the nail is most vulnerable. Okay. Going back into my liquid. Getting yet another ball of product right at that stress line. And I'm going to lightly, I'm going to clean off my brush a little bit. When you feel the brush sticking to the product, that is your indication that you must clean it. Okay. I'm going to go back into the liquid just to make it slick up against the product. Okay. And we're just going to continue to build up on that nail. Now I'm going to go back. This product is actually looking white and not clear. And I'm looking at the jar and it says ultra clear acrylic powder. It looks awfully white to me, but nonetheless, we'll go with that. And I'm going to go back into my brush cleaner. When you go into your brush cleaner, you do not want to take the brush all the way down and scrub the bottom. You do not want to do that. You want to really take care of those hairs gently. So going up and down is fine, because every time you go in and pull it back out, the brush cleaner or acetone is going to pull any acrylic product that's in the brush out of the brush. Okay. All right. So this does not want to stay. Okay. So now I'm a little concerned because my acrylic is drying. So let's see. Let's pull this back off. Let's readjust. Okay. All right. So that's flat. And now. Okay. All right. All right, so now back in my liquid, my monomer, settling my polymer powder. I'm getting another ball of acrylic, and I'm taking it back towards the cuticle. Now I'm working my way towards the cuticle, and you want to be careful not to create too big of a ball, because then you don't want that product to then pool around the cuticle area. We want to leave what we call a hairline space around the cuticle. Okay. So I'm working on this side, which you can't see from the angle of the camera. But I'm working on that hairline space. I know typically on state board they want you to do the sculptured nail in 3 bowls, but you do the sculptured nail with however many bowls necessary to create a nail that you think would be acceptable to your examiner. Now, as I'm brushing this product over the original product, I am brushing very lightly. You do not, because you're sculpting this nail, so it's an angle and pressure sensitive service in terms of how you manipulate the product. Going back in the liquid, settling my powder, going back into the powder. Now you may be able to see on this side, I'm going to place that ball right there on the corner, wipe my brush, and I'm just going to manipulate that product. The product is settling, so basically when you're sculpting a nail, you are just guiding the product where you want it to settle. And as we can see, it's coming right down, right into that free edge. Now I'm patting it because it's beginning to dry, and I wanted to go ahead and join with that original product. Okay. Now what I think I may do at a later date is use the pink product just to see the difference. I believe that pink product is a lot sheer, a lot more sheer than the white, of course, because for some reason this is finishing like white acrylic powder. Now what you may find sometimes is, it happens rare, however, some things during the manufacturing process can be mislabeled. So it is possible that this is white acrylic and not ultra clear. And that's when you would contact your manufacturer or your sales rep for with that, whatever company that you deal with in terms of ordering your product. So now I have cleaned my brush. So now that I'm finished sculpting my nail, this is the time to clean up. I'm taking my used nail wipes and putting it in a covered trash can. I found these cute little covered trash cans. That way you can confine the smell as much as possible. Also, these little cups, excuse me, you can place, once you're done, you can place that over the damping dish to also confine the smell. Okay, so now I just want to continue cleaning my brush, and that looks pretty good. Now I'm not pulling on these hairs, I'm just squeezing them, squeezing the product out. Now I want to go back, take my nail and just fan, and I turned it over, fan it, and I don't see any product. Okay, great. Now I like to just spray it with some alcohol, just something that will moisten the hairs so they will come together nicely. However you allow this brush to dry is how you will find it in the morning. So you want to make sure that that's nice and flat. And I always put the sleeve here, right, when I'm ready to start working. And so now you can place this brush back in here neatly to keep those hairs undisturbed. Okay. All right, and let's see. No. It should be a clear clicking sound. This is a dull sound. Okay, that means it's still wet underneath or in the middle of this acrylic nail. Okay, so we will wait just a few more moments. So just to review, first step is to sanitize your hands. Second step is to buff with a black buffer. I like the white ones. The colored buffers tend to leave behind debris, and you don't want to capture any of that in your finished product. And then you can dust the nail. Then you want to cleanse the nail with a nail antiseptic. You want to dehydrate the nail using a nail dehydrator. You want to prime the nail, the natural nail. Then you want to place your form on, securing it however you need to. And of course you would have your liquid monomer, your liquid monomer, your polymer powder, and then brush cleaner all lined up just so. This cup is to confine the smell, and here are my little custom-made, handmade nail wipes. The orange stick is here just in case you need to clean up around the cuticle area or the side wall. And this is my dropper here that I use extracting my acrylic liquid into my dampened dish, because you don't want to try pouring this out of the larger container, because this is the larger container here. It may have a tendency to spill over, and then there's a mess, and then wasted product and money. Okay, so let's see how much more drier this. That's what we want to hear. See how nice and clear and loud that is? It's a clear clicking. It's not dull. Actually, over here is a little dull, but here is a clear clicking versus, hear the difference? Okay, that was where I last placed that ball, so I'm not surprised that that is still not completely dry. Okay, so while that's drying, I'm going to go ahead and just take this foam off. Be careful when you're taking the foam off. See how I've rocked that back? You don't want to disturb the form or the nail that you created. Now this goes into your trash. Now I had one of my state board candidates, and she did pass. tell me that when she began to file and shape this nail, that it came off, the free edge came off. Don't want that to happen at State Board. It did not cause her to fail because I'm sure she performed so high on all the other sections, but that's one thing you definitely do not want to do. See that? Nice and clear and clicky, and sounds like the other side. Now, that is our indication that we can file and shape the nail. So now, you want to make sure that the area around the cuticle is nice and smooth. You know what? I don't think I want to use this black file because it's leaving some streaks behind. I'll use this gray zebra file instead. You also want to make sure that the sides looks or appears as though they are growing right out of that nail bed. You see how I'm holding this nail, because the last thing I want, if this was, you know, my State Board nail, I wouldn't want it to break on me or come off, which I don't think this one will. It feels pretty good. Okay, now I'm going to shape up my free edge. And be careful, hold that nail on there, that clamp. It's a little vulnerable. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. I chose with a square shape, classic square. Okay. I think I'm okay with that. I'm gonna switch sides and go with a softer file now. And now I'm going to finish up with my black buffer. Make it nice and smooth. Okay, now using your fluffy, take off any dust, and using alcohol. You don't want to use your nail antiseptic. This is expensive, so you want to really preserve that for, or reserve that for, just cleansing the nail plate. Everything else, use alcohol. Okay, I'm going to take a nail wipe and wipe this off. Okay, so now I'm going to take this off. I want to get a closer look. Okay, not bad for my first time. Now, there's a nice arch there, nice arch. And I would probably, hopefully you can see the arch from the front, I'd probably thin that out a little bit. But given the positioning of how this nail is clamped on the table, couldn't really get that vision. But otherwise, I think that's a pretty good sculptured nail. It would certainly pass State Board. Come over here and just get that a little bit and clean that. There you go. Bit of a perfectionist, it's okay. All right, so that is this sculptured nail, aka acrylic nail, for your state board exam for cosmetology. Thank you for tuning in. Please like and subscribe to this video. We did hit our 1,000 subscriber mark, and so now we are considered influencers in the YouTube community, and I am so grateful to everyone that subscribed to this channel. Thank you and have a great day.